It has been a great first season for Fustastica. The attendance has been higher than expected thanks to the support of the local cities in Chichester. Everyone seems to be excited for the new park and what it's going to bring, and everyone wants to know what the new attractions are going to look like. Fustastica are keen to not just keep sprawling, but make clever and calculated decisions by heavily investing for a couple of years with the hopes of gaining it back in time. More excitingly, the famous dark water ride company Simple Simulation Systems have been seen on site, and with the Viking inspired things seen in the opening season, I think we can expect something a little dark and boaty. Hi guys, welcome to the end of the first season of Fustastica, and we have achieved a lot this season. We have built some rides, we've had an amazing attendance, and Chacho has caught a cold. He feels a little bit rough. How are you guys doing out there? Are you alright? Are you feeling better than I do? Good. So we're going to need to go into the second season, and you thought I was going to invest here, didn't you? I've been doing some homework off camera. Yeah, so this is a park that's going to be spending quite a bit of money in the first couple of seasons. We're capitalising on the fact that we're new, and we're starting to get momentum in the guest level and attendance and stuff that we're getting. I don't want to do roller coasters just yet, but I did want to develop this back end of the field, and because we're close to this motorway down here, it feels like a building would be the right thing to do. So this is what I'm thinking. We're going for sort of Viking Voyage at Emerald Park vibes, but we're going inside. We're literally going to be in a building. Now this is raised up at the moment, so hence the reason why you're looking at this thinking those clearance levels aren't going to work. I promise they do. And in fact, these are probably still too high, so I need to build it out. But let me talk you through what I'm doing, shall we? We've got a split loading station, and that's so that I can have a queue line and a main entrance building here. And then we've got the exit that comes through this way into what will be a double gift shop. This whole idea, by the way, this came to me in my sleep. I woke up dreaming about this park, and I actually wrote it down as I remembered it at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, yes! Remember this. So we've got it coming out of the station into a bit of a twisty turny, then it comes into the first drop, round underneath it into a turntable, backwards drop, rewrites itself, and then into the final drop this way when it comes out of the building. I kind of want this to be a little bit like Oakwoods where it comes out of the building, and then it does a bit of a twist around and then comes back into the building. Maintenance and service areas are going to be in here. Like I say, this is going to be the main entrance building. Then these two are going to be gift shop. And then these two are going to be food and drink. So I didn't want there to be buildings that were completely flush to the warehouse wall. I actually wanted them to feel a little bit staggered to give the area just a little bit of personality. And let me talk you through the rest of the area, right? Because I know I'm trying to do more of the Let's Play stuff. So if I grab my gravel, I want the path. Let me just up the intensity down the sides. I want this path to sort of like come around here, and this to be a bit of a mini plaza area. Then the path needs to come, of course, down this way. It's going to need to interact with this, and I don't think I'm going to be able to use the in-game water. I think I'm going to need to use the water pieces, but it needs to sort of come around this sort of avenue. Now, we've also got this second path. I don't know if you can see it through the trees that comes down here. So I want there to be a bridge that sort of comes this way and then interacts with another plaza area in this sort of region. Now, that means we've got this bit here. So I want this to be another body of water. And I actually want to have some more rides in this area. So I think we're going to be able to use the pirate ship idea, right? So I want the pirate ship to be close to the water, like that. And I also want the queue line. I don't know if I'm going to have to do this, because I don't know if I can get it. Maybe I can. Let's just get the different ones. So the soil. So I want the queue line to be like almost like a cattle pen that comes here and then down sort of like this way ish, and then meets up to the plaza area here. And then I do want another ride in this area, and I don't know what we should go for. I mean, I'm toying with the idea of it being something like, because the Pathos 3 is in the game. Oh, by the way, the game update has just dropped, by the way, and it's an incredible update. Like, I am so here for it. I do want an additional ride, and I'm toying with it being the Mecha Roller, right? Because that feels like that would fit quite nicely in that sort of area. So, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to need to go off camera. I need to get all of this ready, because this is all just thoughts at the moment. I'll see you in a minute. So, question, is this looking like my dream? And the answer, actually, yes. Yes, it is. And I'm actually here for it. It's quite a lot that I need to show you. There's quite a lot that still needs to be done. Don't worry. This is not going to be another one of those last week episodes where I suddenly finish the rest of the park or anything. Please don't expect that every week because that was quite intense. But this is how we are looking. I love this. Like, this is exactly how I thought it was going to be. I didn't want it to be a flat building. I wanted it to have a bit of a dimension to it. And we've got it. We've done it. There's one thing, by the way, that's bothering me, and I'm going to get this out here right now. It's the scale. I think the building is too big, I think the ride is too big, and I think these are too big. However, we're dealing with Planet Coaster scale. There's a minimum track length for these rides. We can't disable them any further than they already are, so we get what we're given, right? And I'm alright with that, it's fine. It's still a relatively cheap attraction to pull together, like all of this rock work and stuff. It's all papier-mâché, or whatever you call it. And there's all sorts of concrete and stuff, and warehouses are pretty cheap to throw up and whatever, so yeah, it's fine. It's still going to be a relatively budget, even though it's high decorated. Right, so we're going to start inside the station, right, because I love this station. It's just this idea of the queue wrapping around and then coming down here, and then just the station itself is all kitted out. Of course, when it's going to be dark, it's going to have quite a bit of an ambience to it. There's orange lighting and stuff that I'm not going to show you just yet because I want to finish it first. This up here, this would be the control panel, and because it's a dual station, the control panel is also the other side there as well. So you'd have someone watching both sides to make sure that everybody is clear. And of course, you'd then have access here for maintenance and stuff and whatever. So yeah, I'm happy. These like town scenes and whatever, I like how this is. It sort of gives it a little bit of a personality. I've just put a fence and stuff in to stop people from straying away from the queue and whatever, keep people in line. But I like it, right? I need to do something here. I don't quite know what the detail for this is going to be because it's hidden, but yeah, it's fine. And then down here, I've got the dungeons and stuff. This is not the only place I'm using this. This is also at the end of the ride as well. But yeah, I like it, right? It works. It works. Then we come into the first scene. It's basically a town scene. It needs detailing and clutter and stuff. And I need to clear I need to clear the area for that door. It's not a very effective emergency exit. But yeah, it just needs like some stuff throwing into it, like, and then I've just put the rock work and whatever up just to, you know, give it that guest sightline stuff. The black walls are going to be great at hiding all the lights and stuff from elsewhere, and the ray tracing and whatever in the game is going to do a really good job at making the whole thing dark, right? Then we're going to come through here. It's just a scene, just a few lights and stuff. It's nothing particularly special. And then we come into the first lift hill. There's a bit of a cover there, and then we come into another scene, and that's the sunken ship. Of course there's going to be a sunken ship. I'm surprised that you're surprised. So, lots of sunken ship clutter. This is ultimately going to be a fairly dark affair, though. There's a couple of lights and whatever to give it... Actually, I'm lying. It's not going to be dark at all. There's quite a few lights there. And then we come into, like, a cave scene inside here. This is what the ray tracing is going to do, by the way. This is pretty much how I want it to be, but of course we're going to have double dark because we're going to have roofs and stuff. Yeah, it's a bit more of a mine scene, more of a cave scene, but it's fine. It's just, the idea is it's supposed to be hiding the transition, right? It's supposed to be hiding all the stuff that's sitting above it there, so it's fine. Come on, what's going on? Then we're going to come up the lift hill here. It's a temple scene, so I have taken this from Viking Voyage. It's pretty much lifted straight from there, but this is the idea of it turning around. I didn't realise, by the way, that my turntable previously was just turning people around. It wasn't actually turning them backwards, so I fixed that. There's a bug, by the way, in here, and I hate it. I hate that the game doesn't validate that this is clear before allowing the train in, so... if this turntable hadn't stopped finishing, this whole thing crashes. And there's like a disparity between the dispatch and the amount of time the game thinks this takes, and you lose steps. I can't explain it, right? It just, over time, incrementally, the boats get closer and closer and closer together, and eventually it misses the target here, and it's really annoying. But this is the castle scene, if you like, the temple scene, whatever. It needs cluttering out and detailing and stuff, and it's all good. Then we're going to come around this way, and I have just attached all of these wooden spikes to it because I don't really want to do too much here, and this is all you'd need for this kind of thing. And then you go into the drop, and then this bit I've left completely blank because we're going to do a bit of a live play in a moment. And then you turn back round here. And then you go up the lift hill, and because it goes up and over the maintenance area, I have just put these covers and stuff in, so that you've actually got the darkness and whatever, so you can actually hide it. This is a beaut, by the way, where you've got a massive empty building and you've got nothing to cover it off with. You just put this intimate cover over, and it's all good. I mean, it hides it all from here. And then it comes into the final drop. So I'm using rockwork and stuff just to hide off the warehouse and stuff. And then this is the final drop. It's going to come down into the plunge pool. I've decided to use the in-game water pieces rather than water itself, because I can get it like quite close to the top of the chute here, to the top of the channel, and then I can also tuck it in quite nicely around here, and then it's going to come through this way into another dungeon scene where it's going to be covered off by rocks, and then of course there's the access point to the maintenance area, and then you come into this station area here. I don't quite know what the detailing for this station area is going to look like until I put the roof on, and in fact how much I want to detail inside here. Then the rest of the area then, so we've got the pirate ship that's inside here. This is the queue line. I like how this queue line turned out. Actually, I've used the same fencing. It feels like that's like a consistent thing for the park. Put just a perimeter fence down the back here because you need to separate it off, and then of course this is the actual the pier, if you like. Now I don't know what water to use here, so I need to play this out a little bit. Do I want to use the clear water? I know that's the water level I want to use, because I want to put rocks and stuff down here. So I don't know whether I want to use the clear water, which gives it quite a nice effect, but it's very clean. Or do I want to use the dirty water, or the slightly dirty water? You know, the natural water. I think I'm lending myself to that. I think. I'm going to keep that in for a minute anyway. So this is the mecha roller, and this is the queue line. Again, the queue line just looks really, really good. I quite like how it's turned out. I quite like the pointiness of it. There's just something about the pointy queues that I just absolutely love. Right, so rock work down here, I think. So because it's a backwards section, what I'm thinking is putting down just a load of rock work just to hide stuff, you know, like you're traveling backwards. I don't know, you might be dragged backwards or whatever. But let me show you what I do with my rock work. That's what I wanted to do. So let me just turn off the stick to surface and the align to surface off. I'll always take, you'll argue with me over this, right? And that's fine. Let's fight over it. But I'll always take one rock and then I'll just place it around like this, and then I'll change the height, and I'll rotate it and do it around, right? So I'll always end up just doing one rock at a time, as in like one rock type at a time, and then I come back and then I will retrofit the rest or another rock into it, right? Just like that. That's exactly how I'm doing it, and that kind of gives that idea, that impression of randomness without being random. Like I don't have to keep going through and swapping the rocks and swapping the rocks and swapping the rocks, because that's annoying. That's really, really annoying. So this is all I do. I will just quite literally take one rock and then just keep spamming it around, and then I'll come back and change the rock and do a different one. But this is what I'm thinking for this area. I just want it to be rocky, because it's a bit lazy and it's a bit, you know, easier to do. But you're being dragged backwards. And the idea is I want to hide this piece here. And I want to be able to say that this is going to be triggered sort of as you go past it, almost like you don't see it coming, and then there it is in front of you. So, oh, there you go. That's there. That's that bug. That's the bug. You've just seen it do it. There you go. I'm not lying. Okay, so there we go. That's how we are at the midway point. I'm just going to reopen that because, yeah. See you in a minute. Oh, guys, I am ready to call it. The Dunfernell stamp is coming out. Oh, my God, it is done for now. And I love how this has turned out. This is everything I wanted it to be, these buildings. It's exactly as I thought it was going to be when I had a dream. I've got an evaluation to do. There's some stuff that we need to talk about. It's not all perfect, but yes, I mean, this first drop, or this last drop here, I absolutely love it. The pirate ship needed some love. I've just given it a little bit of theming. It's supposed to be on a jetty, so there wouldn't be any foliage and stuff here. You'd keep it relatively clear. But yeah, it needed a little bit of love, so I've added some themes and stuff along here. This pier with the queue line on, it's exactly as I wanted it to be. This bit with the grass also. And then all of this touch-up work down here, it just looks right. It just looks as it should do. I went for the natural water, by the way. It's not a treated body of water. the clear water was too clear, it was too lovely. This is going to have algae blooms and stuff in this, so I've kept it as the natural water. And the Mecha Roller, by the way, this over here, I've kept it unthemed because this is going to be on the periphery of next week's attraction. There you go. There's the construction fences up for next week's attraction already, and there were going to be a path that will come around this way, I think, so that's why I wanted this to be slightly themed with the fencing and whatever, but not themed as a ride itself. So then we've got the shops, so the actual food units and stuff. So I wanted these to actually be a consistent design. I wanted them to all be the same, and of course it hides the building perfectly, right? From down here you can't actually see the massive warehouse, but they needed a personality of their own. That's why they've got some subtle changes. So if we come into the restaurant, there's the restaurant or the food unit. There's nice and simple inside here. These new videos, by the way, they're incredible. I absolutely love them. Lots of Viking clutter and stuff on the walls, and then you call it done. But this is the bit I think where it actually comes to life the most. It's where you start to put in that kitchen set that's on the workshop, and then you've got a self-serve and stuff, not self-serve, sorry, grab and go style thing going on inside here. And then over in the gift shop, so nice and dark in here, there we go. These things are on fire, they probably shouldn't be, but I just wanted this to have like the whole exit via the gift shop vibe. You know, there's the ride exit there. So you got the ride photos. I haven't put the photos on the screen yet. I do need to go back and do them at some point. But I just wanted to keep this nice and simple. All of the gift shop clutter and stuff that you've seen used many, many, many times before. So that's nothing particularly special. But this is the actual ride itself then. So this is the... this is going to be a mess of camera, and I'm going to make my apologies right now. Nice and gloomy inside here. The ray tracing does an incredible job when you actually can run the ray tracing. It's brilliant. Like, it just looks so gloomy and so perfect. Then we're going to come into the actual ride station itself. This is what I was talking about there being this orange glow in here. And I love it, right? The station is just perfect. It's exactly as I wanted it to be. I've used a similar style before, right? So this isn't new to me. This isn't something that I've, you know, never done before. But I love it. Like, I absolutely love how this has turned out. And Planet Coaster 2 does the lighting really, really well. Like, we are in a warehouse. Look, you can see that there's all the beams and stuff from the warehouse, and there's all of the aircon units and stuff. All of this would be on show, but these lights would cause blindness. It's sort of like, remember we were talking about the principle of there being two worlds, the world that the guest sees and the world that maintenance sees. That's what we're going for here. So let's take a tour of the ride. Now it's actually in darkness, and this is where I'm going to really, really struggle with the camera, but we're going to give it a go. Let's see what happens. So we come through this way, and then we come into the market scene. So let me just get slightly higher with the market scene. There we go. So there's the market scene. Really, really low lit. There's only like accent details on things that you want people to see. So like all of the buildings and stuff. Otherwise it's in complete pitch black. And then we come through this way. So again, this is another one of those scenes where you just have more stuff. But I've just put some accent lighting up here so that you've got some more like focus on the spikes and stuff, because it's supposed to be the dungeon or whatever you want to call it. Then we come into the first like drop itself. Now I didn't want to put a roof and stuff over here. I did actually want this to feel like it was inside a warehouse. Remember, we are still a budget-ish park. We're not Disney. We're not trying to hide stuff. It's not supposed to be a completely immersive thing. And I think this is actually my first criticism of the ride. I think it's probably too big for the park, and I think it's probably too expensive for the park, especially in this point in its history. But it's fine. We're dealing with what we've got, so I'm happy with how it's turned out. Here's then the sunken ship scene. Love the lighting in here. It's perfect. Like, it's just purple and blue. Ah, yes. Then the cave scene, when it turns back to red, and you've just got all the stuff that's hidden. Then we come to what I think is, hang on, because this is going to be difficult. What I think is possibly one of my favourite details. It's inside here. It's the crypt scene, and I love it. Right, the lighting and stuff in here just makes it perfect. I wish we could stop the banners from moving, but we can't. You can't trigger them, so it is what it is. You'll just have to believe that they're not they're not moving. But yeah, so inside here, nice and lit, lots of colourful lighting, and I am here for it. Then we come through this way when it's in the dark, and that's where I've put all of those barriers and stuff up. And then of course you go down backwards, so you're not going to see all of this glare. I don't actually know what this glare is from. like, I literally don't know what that glare is from. I've tried to find the light source and see if I can deal with it, and I don't know what it is. So it's fine, but you can't see it anyway because you're facing backwards. And then you come through this way and it's really, really low level lit, and that's because I wanted these to really stand out. You can't have it completely pitch black in case you need to evacuate and stuff, so that's why we've still got the lights. But I wanted these, and I don't even know what they are, right? I just mythology type stuff, and I just haven't got a clue. And then you come through this way into the whatever, the dragon, which serves no purpose to the story. And then you come back into another crypt, it's differently lit and differently decorated, so it's you know, not exactly the same. And we come through this way, which is completely pitch black, other than our hammer people, which I don't know what purpose they actually serve. And then of course you come through and there's the head thing with the antlers and whatever, and then from there you actually go into that really dark tunnel, and this is like the 5th take of me doing this bit, and it's just not going to go very well. But you go through the tunnel and then you come down the first drop outside into this bit, and then you go back into the exit there. So on the outside I have just started to do some of the maintenance bits, but the attraction next week is going to put the road and stuff in here, because it's also going to be the service road for the attraction that's coming in, or service road for the attractions that are coming in here. So it needs sort of like to do that next week rather than this week. So what else is there to show you? Because like there's lots of detailing and stuff that I've done. Like down here, there's lots of flowers and foliage that I've put in, and then the accent lighting and stuff that we've got for the Viking lighting and whatever is just, I love it. So let me show this to you at night, because there's a couple of things that I do want to show you. So if I move this to 2 AM, you can see that the lighting is quite low level because it's the way that the Viking lighting works. So we've got some bridges and we've got some piers. They need some kind of lighting, so there is some kind of flood lighting and stuff in this area. So it needs to do that because you need to light this area to stop people from falling into the water and stuff. But I like it, right? And the same with the queue line. You just use floodlights just to light the queue line. It doesn't need to be bright. It just needs to be lit. It needs to be not dark, basically, is what you're going for here. Now, I said we were going to do an evaluation. Let me quickly talk to you about the stuff that I don't like, because there is some stuff. I think this building is probably a little bit too big for the park that we're trying to do, and I think that's down to the ride system that I've chosen here. I kind of wish I hadn't used the log flume and I'd used a smaller ride system. I bet this building probably could have been about a third of the size. That would then sort out the problem that I've got here with the whole scale of the buildings and the fact it feels a little bit too big. I think it's probably too detailed for what we're trying to achieve. This park is still a budget park. It's still growing. I mean, they would make the investment, of course they would, but I think this is more of a Gardaland Alton Towers style edition than it is an Oakwood style edition. But it's fine. It's going to grow with the park, so it's going to be fine. But that means, though, that it's probably too expensive. They probably spent a little bit too much money on this. But again, it is what it is, and it's not horrible. Like, it looks fine, it looks okay, and in the context of a bigger park, you know, where we are taking up all of this kind of space for the main park, it would sit correctly. It sits about the same size as Jewel, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I like how it's turned out regardless. Like, regardless to the park it's in, I like what I've done. So, thank you for getting to the end of this one, guys. I really do appreciate it. As always, like, comment, subscribe, etc. We're going to go for a ride. I can't wait to show you what's coming next week. I can't wait. It's not even in the park, by the way. So when you download the park, you won't be able to see it because I've actually hidden it. So, hooray. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. I'll speak to you later. Bye-bye.